Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Cookiecast. Today on Cookiecast, it's the football podcast. And already, the football podcast has got special guests. Paul was hosting with his co-host James, and they had not only a special guest in person who travelled all the way from Hull, they had a special guest on the phone. So, we're off to a flying start with this podcast. So, there's discussion about what's going on with the borough and the Forest boys. Lots of Forest supporters in the house, and we added a Hull supporter to the mix. So see what you think to this. So this is You Can't See the Forest for the Tees. Okay.
Say something, Matt.
Something, Matt.
That worked. I saw something.
No, then, Matt, you all right?
Yeah. Do you want my NFL picks, or am I still in the sin bin? Yeah,
no, you're not in the sin bin.
You're not in the sin bin, no.
I don't think you've ever been in the sin bin.
No.
I think all the space in there was taken up by Tim.
Tim and his... I think did we move a fridge in there? Although there was something suspicious. I had a text message from Tim over the weekend. Where do I find the latest episode of the podcast? I was like,
ooh, interesting.
On the YouTubes.
The place where all the other ones are.
It lives with the other podcast.
You should have said, well, Tim, if you just go to the place where you've been downloading it for the past...
Well, you've been listening to the
last...
Yeah, well, you've listened to the last 72.
Do you know what? I inadvertently downloaded one.
If this turns
out
out
to be
porn,
for something else.
I don't want to hear it.
I was looking at something else, and because it remembered that
you like porn.
Yeah. Excellent.
Can you download porn podcasts on iTunes?
I don't know. Should we ask Sam? He's the king of downloads.
Truly legitimate downloads.
Of course. I mean, yeah, he's the king of perfectly legitimate DVD-based copies bought from Amazon.
Of which we'll
He's been trying.
Oh no, it's a DVD actually.
Are we going to watch Event Horizon at the weekend? This is absolutely not. I'm assuming this isn't going to go in the podcast.
He's been trialling that drone service of Amazon where you click for purchase and then it turns up at least an hour later.
Having stopped 15 flights.
That's exactly that's where you were going with this.
Event Horizon, in theory, should be the movie. Is
Excellent.
what I've said.
Oh, well, I'm only coming if it's Fast and Furious.
You fucking monkey.
No, I'll be there. Don't worry.
Right then.
I can't watch it.
So, here we are. I mean, it's already exploded. And let's not talk about numbers. We don't need to dwell on numbers, do we?
I don't know. I've got.
Who would
go on, tell numbers.
Dwell on numbers. Oh yeah. Go on.
2 podcasts in.
Already the most popular.
Fuck off.
Really?
This never happened at school.
This guy. I was like, maybe you could talk about how to make a popular podcast. Maybe you could learn about that. He's like, apparently I don't need to.
He's such a goddamn bastard.
Oh, really?
I called him round at work and he goes, oh yeah, I'm only coming round if this is about improving podcasts or something. Like, not
excellent,
needed, mate.
The football podcast is doing quite well in its infancy.
I just assume they tune in to see me lose to Paul at the end every time.
But there has been there might need to be an official adjudication around. I think some of the other podcast members didn't know about self-promotion, so I think.
What do you mean self-promotion?
Yeah, I don't know what you're getting at there.
Oh, when you go into a meeting and promote your own podcast, didn't remember that was a thing. Did you?
I promote the channel in general.
I said nothing. I walked back in.
Even there,
I walked back in having had my lunch, and was told, "So you do a podcast, yeah?" I mean, I don't know why I said that because he wouldn't have caught me. He was from Norwich.
From South Africa.
South Africa, yeah.
Yes.
What
Got
we need
any
to do is
cougar
get Phil onto it as well.
Well, I thought that was the way it was going. I thought we were going to be, it's Phil from the football quiz. I was like, that'd be good. He could do the quiz for us. He could come in at the end and do the quiz for us.
Multi-branded.
I like this.
He could be your sponsor, and gets him some more traction for the football quiz.
Yes.
Every for second Thursday of the month in 1331 York. Interesting.
That is not the only promotions we're going to be doing. As of February, we're going to start promoting an upcoming gig from somebody that we all know and love. I don't know if we love them, but we know them anyway. But I'm waiting for some details to be sent through so I can promote it properly.
Interesting. Should we do introductions?
So,
The people who have bad weeks.
people have bad weeks.
I assume that's who.
All the forest.
No, I was going back to the gig thing. Sorry.
Ooh.
Yeah, you've kind of lost me there.
Well, I don't know if I can. Well. Anyway, carry on. I don't know what else. I don't know what I can say. What I can't say. Sorry.
Feels like a NFL quiz. This does. Right. So obviously I'm here, the host. The host. Of the host of the hosts. Paul Earns, the host with the most.
Are you a host now?
Well, I think that's what it's going.
So he's the
That's what it's
host.
going.
You're his co-host.
Oh,
I'm his.
okay.
I host the hosts.
Special guest live in studio,
Hi.
Stu, mentioned on previous podcasts.
Multiple. And you know the rules. You get a mention more than 3 times. Got to come on the podcast.
He's fulfilling his contractual obligations.
This is
That's
the
how it started for me.
From round the corner, yes, Stu. Just round the corner.
Yeah, just about an hour's drive. Got me out, didn't it?
Like I said, keep me out of trouble.
And joining us via the medium of WhatsApp
Psychic.
voice message, Mr. Matthew Moore, a fellow Nottingham Forest fan.
Even everybody.
Evening, Matt.
Good evening.
Hi, Matt.
That voice has been heard on such NFL podcasts as
Atlanta Falcons.
Is this the guy then that was for so long your alter ego?
I've heard this story a few times as well.
So there's maybe been the odd joke about that, maybe Matt. Because somebody Googled Matt Moore. Turned out that Matt Moore just so happens to be a quarterback in the NFL. The plot thickened at this point. It was like, hang on a minute, what's going on here? And Matt Moore got mentioned, the quarterback Matt Moore got mentioned in last week's NFL quiz as one of
He
them.
did, yeah, he was one of the options.
I was like, what? So we're all gathering here today to talk football.
Your favourite
It's not
subject?
Monday.
Your new favourite subject?
New favourite. Love it. Love it. I knew a name. I said that name earlier. I can't remember what it was. Drogba, was it?
Drogba, Adebayo.
This will be
That
a
was
theme,
it.
won't it? Andy's pronunciation. of
Oh,
footballers.
I don't know if
It's
you. I don't know
classic.
if you enjoyed that when we did the quiz last week.
And
We
my
just
boy
had these
Ernest.
pronunciations.
It was the Paris Saint-Germain thing what he'd already said.
Unbelievable.
You were willing to
Arsene
Chinese club.
Arsene Wenger.
Arsene Wenger.
Wenger.
That could have gone worse, let's be fair.
Yeah.
Could have gone worse.
But yes, what a perfect week to get two Forest fans on the blower, or one in person.
Yeah.
Who do you support, Stu?
I'm a Hull City fan. Yeah, I know. Thanks.
At least
And that was that. That's the end of that one.
At least it's not Leeds.
Where are you from?
As Matt pointed out the other day, shots were fired when we discussed the idea of the 39th Premier League game, and it was like, Man City, Man U taking place in LA,
you
and then it's been
apologised to
slagging off
any,
who's
Hull
going to want to see Burnley versus Hull in Mumbai.
In fairness, I wouldn't probably be included in that bracket either. I've seen Burnley in Hull. So that was...
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Oh, we've all been there.
Not Burnley.
No,
I've never been to Hull.
you've never been to Hull, just in general, or the KC. Sorry, to the KCOM.
Get it
Both.
right, Paul. Get it right.
Both.
I went to a photo shoot in Hull.
What, by mistake?
I was carrying someone's bags.
Aye.
It's true stuff. True story, bro.
So Forest ending the week with a different manager, so they started the week.
Yeah, so there's controversy, isn't there?
Is
Some
there?
might say.
Is there?
I'm fairly comfortable about it, to be fair.
Matthew, thoughts?
Matthew's not comfortable.
But just, I don't know. It's just I was kind of thinking about it here because I don't really have to talk. I don't have many
He's so mad, it's cut him off.
No
So
words.
it's kind of like a brutal little self-conversation kind of thing of like, oh well, it's nice that a legend of the club came back, but he's 66 and done.
Is Martin O'Neill 66? Martin O'Neill's 66?
66.
What?
So who was the manager before this?
So
Well, you tell us.
oh my god, yes.
If you'd have said Middlesbrough, I'd have been all over it.
Well, he managed Middlesbrough.
He was a
Prior-
previous Middlesbrough
yeah.
manager. Oh my god, even if we showed you the name written down, I don't think you'd get it.
Oh, is it hard to pronounce? They're
Oh.
my favourite.
It's not hard to pronounce. It's just, well, sort of.
It's going to be hard to pronounce.
It's
Not one of
a
those.
Oh God! release the Kraken. Aitor
He's got it right.
Karanka.
Karanka.
Yeah, we'll give him that. We'll give him that. Yeah, well played.
There you go.
Thanks for effort.
Football fan.
So for anyone who's not following along, obviously, Aitor walked. Was it a mutual consent jobby?
The thing I was said,
Has to be released.
Yeah.
And they've allowed him to.
It was following suit from what he did at Borough.
Yeah,
because
a very similar way to how we exited the Borough.
I can only read into it that he's my theory is that he's probably asked for some more money in January, and they've gone no, and he's gone, well, I don't want to continue then, because he spent a lot in the summer.
What was I going to say? Did he spend 15 on one guy?
13.2 on Carvalho.
I mean, my ultimate knowledge of sitting in the corner over it. Why does somebody go? Oh, can I go? Because you pay me probably quite a lot of money to do this job, but can I just go? I mean, has he gone to something else?
If he has to be released from his contract, it saves them having to pay him to sack him.
Yeah.
And obviously,
Because
if you sack him, you have
Well,
to pay him out of his contract.
they'll come to some form of mutual termination where he won't. So if he had maybe 18 months left on his contract, he'll get paid for 9. Or
Yeah.
6
You know,
or
like
something.
when like Newcastle had Pardew on that 8-year contract and had to pay him God knows how much to go away.
And nobody's ever done that since.
Well, that's it. You learn from mistakes, don't you? If somebody's like, oh yeah, I got paid for doing nothing, then
What were you going to say, Matt?
I think his contract was up in the summer.
Ah, right.
Oh, was
Okay,
it?
so he only had like 6 months left on it
He had
anyway.
an 18-month contract, but then the rumours that I've read from the Nottingham press was that there was a lot of kind of ownership telling him who to play.
Oh, right.
Ownership not happy with who he was playing. They wanted more of the obviously the Portuguese guys that they brought in weren't starting as much. And they were trying to say, right, you've got to play him, you've got to play that. And then they've employed Martin O'Neill, who is definitely going to be willing to follow those orders. Because he's a reasonable gentleman,
And it's weird. I mean, I totally get that kind of like reasoning for it. But did you see the lineup at the weekend? I think it's the first time that Carvalho has been dropped for ages.
Has he been doing well?
I think he gets in the team. I don't think he scores enough or makes enough.
When
All
was-
the other people that play around him seem to do better.
When was the last game? What was the last game you went to, Matt?
Oh, it's been a while. The Newcastle at Newcastle.
So was that
When they were
last?
in the championship? So
So like
last
two,
season.
3 seasons ago then, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think like we spoke about it a few weeks ago. Wasn't it? I've kind of typical self-hating Forest fan. I just lost my temper with it all and was just like, oh God, this is miserable. I'm not going anymore. And then you're like, oh yeah, it's the kind of been the kind of life of a Forest fan that I've found. It can't be that bad with Gary Mason in charge. Yeah. And then you're like, oh well, Colin Calderwood's got to be much better. No, he isn't, but I'll still keep on going. The kind of what was it? The McLaren the French guy
Montier or whatever he was called. Yeah.
Yeah, and after watching him at Newcastle kind of stand on the sideline and kind of pout and preen and stuff like that, I was like, nah, fuck this, I'm not going.
Fuck this.
Until something worthwhile happens. So, it's been, I can't think, I was working out, the other night I was working out, it's 27 years now of Forest. I'm just like, no, was too much.
Ouch.
Roughly correlated around the time he learnt to swear, I'm guessing.
To put it into context for you,
I was
he's
alright for a while, We had a couple of years of success with Clough, and then obviously the drink took hold there, and then Frank Clark took over, and that was not too bad, and then David Platt came along.
I'm a massive fan of the Frank Clark era, but a lot of people are saying that O'Neill's going to be like rubbish, just like ex-legends when Clark came in to manage and when Pearce came in to manage. But I thought Clark was good. For what he had to work with, I thought that was a great period.
So Clark took over after Clough left, did he?
In like 94 to 96,
He got
yeah.
relegated.
Oh no, because I thought Clough left in 93.
Yeah, it would have been, yeah. Sorry, he got relegated, and
Yeah.
then Clark brought us back
Back
out,
up.
and then finished third, and then had like a European run the following year, and then left. Well, he basically could never recover from selling Collymore, really, as far as...
Stan Collymore.
When you spend $3.5 million on Kevin Campbell,
Was that self-edited?
You bleeped yourself there, man. That was impressive.
Saves me a job. Oh well.
that was the beginning. That was like,
To put his frustrations in context for you there, like Andy, 11 managers in 11 years at a football club.
I mean, it's
How
getting...
many is the Borough had?
Well, I was just about to say, so in the entire time that I've grown up supporting Borough, up until Gordon Strachan, they'd had 3 managers in 13 years. So I'd basically grown up like knowing 3 managers my entire sort of Middlesbrough supporting career. And since then, they've changed manager 7 times. So that's nearly 1 a year from there.
What is that? I mean, are there clubs out there that are still sticking to in the last 10 years we've had 3 managers, or is that just the way the world's working now? Are clubs just... Because I mean, even I've seen stuff where it's like, this person's managing this team this week.
Yeah. Well, what's like Hull's turnover?
only really Eddie Howe, isn't it?
Yeah, you do get the odd one. Like Eddie Howe's been there. Deitch has been at Burnley for a while. I think there's Paul Tisdale was at Exeter for about 12 seasons, something like that. But he's moved on. What was the turnover like at Hull?
Hull's has been tainted in recent years because we've had this whole thing where, as Matt was saying, that you've got owners that like to interfere with picking the team. We've just got owners that just like to annoy all the fans that put money in the pockets. I won't go into that too much because we could be here all night. But it's very much the thing that Matt said, the Forest thing at the moment. They're picking yes men, and like obviously we had Steve Bruce when we got promoted.
Because he must have been there 4 seasons.
He was there a good while, certainly, and then we get obviously Toys got out the pram. Same situation. Was promised some money, wasn't going to come through because the owners have been trying to sell it for the last what feels like about 8 years now, even though they've not been there that long.
So to put it in a little bit of perspective, the owners came in, removed concessions tickets.
Well, if you're going to give it the full story...
Oh, here we go. He's
on.
on.
If you're going to give it the full story, the club was in a bit of a state, and I can't really lie about that. They came in as like, the knight in shining armour, whacked all the wad of money on the table, stopped the club from going under, which still is the argument that a lot of fans use now as to why it's good that they're still there. But the guy who owns them is a local businessman and basically is playing Monopoly in Hull. And the crux of it for me is that he wants to buy the stadium, and it's owned by
the council.
Owned by the council, and because he can't buy the stadium, he had a bit of a falling out with the council. So the Hull City Council branding was on all the signs all the way around the stadium. So he's actually paid money out of his own pocket to have that removed just because it's got their badge on it. Which is just petty. It's just petty.
This reminds me of some of that shit that Leeds guy did.
Cellino.
Jesus.
No, but in hindsight, Cellino was a great man.
This reminds me of a podcast from this time last week where I was like, well, that sounds like something completely reasonable for a fully grown man. There does seem to be a lot of large children running around in the football world. It's like,
definitely.
Just like...
Not just on the pitch.
Yeah, it's a bit like, I mean, I fully understand it. I don't know whether how much I agree, but it sounds just a little bit petty, that. But at the same time, if it had been me, I'd have done exactly the same thing. So that's nothing to go.
I suppose it was one step better than just graffitiing it with something. But back to the managers thing. Like, we've had people in the past that have known their football, and like I class Steve Bruce in that category. I think most people would probably have him back. Obviously, he's out of a job as well.
No, he's gone back on Wednesday.
Oh, it's Wednesday.
He's just taken over at Wednesday.
I don't know how he walked into that job, because I thought he really tainted it. Villa.
I know, but like I said last week, when we were discussing it outside of it, he was sort of towards the end of his time at Villa. He was working with his hands tied behind his back because they're really strapped for cash out.
Well, that was exactly like he was at Hull, and then he walked out of that job for the reason that we mentioned, and then now he's gone straight into a job at Villa, where exactly the same things happened, and I don't really know what he expected to gain from that. But then, so we replaced Steve Bruce with Nigel Atkins, everybody's favourite.
No, you're missing out. You're missing out the slut.
Well,
the what?
Yeah, so that's true.
At the start of last season, they employed a Russian manager called Leonid Slutsky.
Oh, I thought it was going to be a different kind of story.
He was like the happiest man you've ever seen. It's like, comes to the press interviews after the game. Your team's just been smashed 3-0. Oh well, don't worry about it. We'll be here next week. Off we go. He's like just really chirpy about it. Obviously, which went down really well. But yeah, now we've got Adkins. So
everyone's favourite physio.
Physio at Scunthorpe. Then went to, was it Southampton?
I mean, that's I think so. Yeah, he went to Southampton
for a long while.
But he
sort of Adkins who took him through.
He got him from League One to the Premier League, and then he got sacked, and everyone thought it was an absolute travesty. But they brought in Pochettino, and look where he is now. So.
But Atkins was given that job because he didn't have one at the time, and he was willing to do anything for money, agree with whatever the owners wanted to do.
Because he last in charge at United, Sheffield United?
Well, I love how you're looking at me like I'm a United fan.
You're a partial season ticket holder at Bramall Lane.
I mean, just hold it for like an hour a day and then put it back down.
I go to a lot more Sheffield United games than anywhere, but because all my family are stupid and stuff.
But you don't say that you actively support them, whereas like I've already admitted the fact that I've probably been to see more Pools games than I have Borough games in the past.
I'll never understand the two teams.
But I actively... Well, I think that one was just because obviously my dad wanted us to go to football as kids and just flat out refused to take us to the Borough.
If you had to pick a team though, would it be Borough?
Yeah.
So Borough your team.
I'm not. I'd never dismiss that, but I always look for Pools results, and I'm always annoyed when Pools don't win. So that basically means I've spent the last 5 years incredibly.
We were looking at doing one of them special days at Pools, because they offered like a 19-course meal, and you can meet like every player you've ever wanted to meet, and like you get to go in the special room, and you get to do all this. It was like £8 a person. There was more than 6 of it. It was insane. I think it was like 200 and something quid, 8 people, and you got like a 4-course meal that you got to meet all the players in, and you were treated like royalty. But we were like, even if the football's not very good, just going for the meal and the crack.
when we sat down and sort of broke it all down, it turned out you were only actually spending something like 15 quid more than a regular ticket. It was insane what you were actually getting for the money.
It was bonkers.
And it would save you having to work out what the food situation is.
Unbelievably.
Were the Yorkshire puddings?
Anyway, question for Matt.
Hello.
Right? So obviously, not happy with O'Neill. Is that because you saw who the other alternatives were? Because a lot of people seem to fancy Jokanovic due to the style of play. Is that what you want?
I think that's the thing. I just can see it going wrong really, really quickly, and not because of O'Neill. Part of me thinks, with the squad that we've got, that he should be successful.
Yeah.
And if Keane comes with him, maybe that'll be all right. But I can either see them being out of the club by March because someone tried to tell them what to do once and just burn the fucking place down.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Where's that bake machine now, Matthew?
It's not unlikely with Roy Keane
Yeah.
And last time I watched an O'Neill team play, like league football, they weren't. They're not gonna. He's not gonna be there playing loads of silky football. He's a defence first kind of guy. Win it 1-0 if you can. Score an extra one. You know, Forest fans.
Hang on a second. That does not sound like Martin O'Neill. That sounds like a certain TP. That sounds like a certain Tony Pulis to me.
I think Forest fans are like, oh, Lewis Grabban. Why has Lewis Grabban not been playing? Well, get ready for a lot more Darryl Murphy because Jesus Christ. I hope it's successful because nothing. And Stuart and Paul can confirm this. Nothing disappointed me more than how shy Pearslord and the absolute kind of disaster both times. But like obviously the second time when he came around, I've been in the England setup, I've learnt loads more, I'm going to come back and it's going to be different. And it wasn't, and he was done by January or February. And you just think, if it goes like that again,
I think that's what happens when, like they say, there's the worry of like someone coming in that's like quote a legend at the club.
Well, we had it similar about maybe six or 7 seasons ago when Mowbray came after the Strachan disaster. Mowbray came in and was basically told, right, you've got no money because Strachan spunked it all on Scottish players. Literally. Can you keep us in the league and then maybe try and get us promoted if you can? He was like, yeah, go on.
But due to his stature, was that to appease fans though? Like, because I think that's got the opposite effect at Forest.
With Mowbray had the sort of thing of fans didn't get on his back for at least the first season and a half. And then towards the end of his...
I dream of a manager for a season and a half.
Seriously. It was
Can I just say, I'd have loved to have gone to that job interview. If that's how that went down. So we spunked all the money on Scottish players. Can you just do this? And he's there going, yeah, all right.
But no. I think part of the problem with that was that because he was around when the club almost folded the first time round in 1986, he got to know Gibson, because obviously Gibson was the guy who saved the club. And then by the time it came round to him being appointed as the manager, he had the problem there that him and Gibson were pretty much mates. And then when things started to go a bit south on the results and stuff, it was almost like kind of like sacking your dad or something like that, or
kicking a puppy in the face.
Yeah, it was that sort of thing where I don't really want to do this, but for the good of the club, you're gonna have to go to that. And he's done it right for himself. He got a job at Coventry, and he's now at Blackburn, and he's doing well with them and stuff like that. So it's not gone too badly. But I think that it can go one or two ways, can't it? If you're a club legend, you either get a little bit more time, but then if things don't go right, you've got the problem that you like taint your legacy or whatever.
I'd have been all over O'Neill being manager like 10 years ago. I just don't know about.
Well,
now.
it was.
I'm not obviously as upset as someone on the phone might be. But yeah, I think it's maybe been left a bit too long to get that in.
Was his last league club Sunderland?
A little bit of Sunderland. I think most people are going to think about Villa, aren't they?
Well, no, because he was at Sunderland after Villa, wasn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, did he only do was it half a season of keeping him up, then half a season of basically taking him down?
Something like that.
There as well, didn't he?
With his
I don't think he did.
I thought he was at something.
I think Keane only got with him when they got the Ireland job.
I think he came in and did a half a season and saved him, and then the first half of the next season it looked ropey and they told him to go so someone else could come in and save him. Because they were in that perpetual idea of like...
That was ridiculous. Like for like
just every year, just avoiding relegation.
It was something ridiculous. Like 5 seasons in a row, Sunderland didn't end the season with the same guy who'd started the season managing them.
Because he basically, it's the typical thing, and it's probably going to happen to Solskjaer at Man United, a different thing. Is like you bring someone in to do really well for the second half of the season, and you think, brilliant, they're the guy for the future. And after 3 months of the next season, it's like, nah.
He's doing alright, though, 6 games on the spin.
I think he'll do alright there. I don't know if they'll jump in and get him full time. But
one of the funniest things I've seen this week was that apparently Paul Ince was sat there going, oh, well, Me or Newsy or Brucey could have done the same thing.
He said that.
What's that, Paul? You were. I'm pretty sure you threw your name in the hat for the Hartlepool United job and didn't even get that.
I remember reading something from Paul, and literally as soon as Mourinho left, it was like, this is Steve Bruce's for the taking. And I'm like, again, going back to the thing, it was like, has anyone seen what Steve Bruce did? What makes you think he's going to be the man to get him into the top four?
That's one of those interesting ones, isn't it? Because there were so many United players who became managers, and then everyone was saying he's definitely going to be the guy who takes over when Ferguson leaves. And then then he just kept going for a little bit longer, and that person was not quite as good a manager as everyone thought, and it just kept passing over and passing over.
So we got to David Moyes, and that turned out spectacularly well, didn't it?
Seriously, when Moyes was there,
that's the point though, because he was like supposedly hand-picked by
Ferguson,
well,
that was the problem. It was,
successor,
I think,
to make himself look better, maybe.
Yeah. But I always said for ages, the guy who takes over after Ferguson will only last 6 months, because the players, it'll be that much of a change that the players, they'll either won't like it and they'll just revolt against him, and that's what happened.
Because Ferguson wasn't just managing the team though; he's literally managing.
He was,
the club,
he was,
wasn't he?
He had his fingers in every pie there.
But I mean, greater Man United fans than me will be obviously probably no more.
He snuck that in there, didn't he?
Right, but
greater Man United fans than myself will.
Fans of Greater Manchester.
I'm pretty sure it was going on the first podcast, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. But you brought Solskjaer in. He's obviously the manager and he's the face of it all. But I don't think it's to be underestimated that he's brought Phelan in to come work with him. And I think he's a great assistant. And also, from what I've heard, that Ferguson's more involved than what he's been for the last few years.
Well, I'd be a bit surprised because he just had that health scare, hasn't he? So I'd be surprised if he's like properly hands.
No, but I think he's obviously going to be guiding Solskjaer, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But Solskjaer knows the club though, doesn't he? Because he's managed through the ranks there, hasn't he?
What I don't understand with that is that he's still technically the manager of Mould, isn't he?
And they're fully expecting him to go back at the end of the year, aren't they?
Are they in their season then? Or are they?
I don't know how it works in Norway. It's a Norwegian team called Mould.
Not as in Mould that grows on stuff.
Not like he's managing mould. What, he's growing the stuff for people?
Got the milk on the side and left it. Thought, that'll do.
Put that out in the sun and leave it there. Right,
Hey,
that's been on for the day.
To be fair, that would probably still play better football than Mourinho.
I'm sure he'll prove us all wrong and go win something somewhere. He'll go win something somewhere.
Solskjaer?
No. Mourinho.
Oh, he'll get another job.
Yeah. Somewhere.
Could have had him at Forest.
Oh, I was going to say.
I mentioned this to my dad, and he was like, lots of Portuguese players to manage, though. Oh well.
Are they from the right club as well? I can't. Where did they sign the two?
I think because they've got a load on load. I think the majority are from Sporting, aren't they? I think they're all like under 21s from Sporting.
That's not him. That's not him, though, is it? Wasn't he?
No, he's Porto, isn't he? I think
he's more Porto.
I was looking at him.
He's Benfica or something.
I think he did like half a season of somewhere else. He done like someone. I don't know,
Guimarães or something, Vitória Guimarães.
Some team I've never heard of before. And then I think he done like half a year
probably in the quiz later.
Or like Benfica or something. And he come through at Porto. But yeah.
So have we?
You got to avoid big managers, because then if you start saying we should have big managers, then you start sounding like Newcastle United, and it can't happen.
Oh, that's a perfect segue. All this stuff that has everyone seen the stuff that like Rio Ferdinand's come out and said about how Newcastle? I bet you're loving this. I bet this makes you piss your pants.
But do you want a live update of the FA Cup replay?
Oh, I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, so they're playing. It's at Blackburn tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, took a 2-0 lead. Missed it on the wall, they're back to 2-2.
Yes! Tell you something. As much as I enjoy supporting the Borough, I think I love watching Newcastle get knocked out of the cups each season more.
No, it's just the whole soap opera shit show. Yeah, like I said, I got front row seats. It's absolutely marvellous.
But it was the fact that Rio Ferdinand had said something along the lines of...
Is this essentially where he said about how he kind of sees how Ashley.
Well, he's saying that Newcastle fans should be appreciative of what Mike Ashley's done.
Yeah.
I can only assume he was basically whoever was on the panel with him was like, hey, watch this. I'm gonna get the Newcastle fans right riled up here.
And at half time should have a pop-up Sports Direct on the centre circle.
I think he was doing it at the in the studio for the other one. He was essentially just saying that he can appreciate what Ashley's doing and that they have to accept that it's like a business now.
Well,
and it's not. People don't go. It's not. Football's not about.
At the end of the day, it is his business.
Yeah.
But it's not his business because Sports Direct's his business. But he owns the club. He put his own money in to buy the club. If he thinks that he's not going to get any return on putting more money in, why should he?
I mean, he's a businessman that's going to be able to weigh up. If I put money in, I need to see that money coming out.
He's got a price in his head that he's willing to sell the club for. If no one's coming in with that offer, why should he sell it? Why is he going to sell it for lower than he thinks?
While he's not selling it, though, it is losing value.
Yeah.
And the only way he can increase that value is to increase the playing squad. But he's going to want to make sure that he gets that. If he invests in the playing squad, he wants that back at the end.
Yeah.
Sounds awfully familiar. This is the exact problem what I was talking about before. Like, City have had that, and like they say they go in, they're going to sell it. They do all right, they get into the Premier League, doesn't sell it. They thinks we'll get another 5 years of parachute payments. So they hang on to it for another 5 years, and now it's like, running out. It's it does get more desperate though, and like you say, it's all speculate to accumulate thing as well, because you've got to put it in to get it back in football.
Yeah,
it's not. It is just a money pit, absolute money pit.
Especially when you've got like maybe it's like local, like you're still in the world of like local businessmen done good or whatever there, by the sounds of it, and wanting to invest but wanting his money back. But you're now competing against literally like sheikhs at the other end of the world who don't care how much they have to spend. Their only issue is, can I just like kind of keep FIFA off my back with fair play rules? I don't care how much I lose.
Well, it's all right because
what's an acceptable
if FIFA ever come knocking at the door or UEFA come knocking at the door saying, "Can we see your statistics?"
You just throw them a gold watch and they go away.
It's not that. It's just do a world record sponsorship deal with the stadium.
Oh yeah.
So what was the most anyone had ever paid to like name the stadium? 20 million or something like that, and then Etihad Airways.
Was it like 500 over 3 years?
Just so happened to come in and offer £400 million to sponsor the stadium. It's like,
what'll balance the books for us? All right, okay, that's amazing. That's the exact offer that we've accepted.
It's so weird, isn't it? It's perfect, that offer. Yeah.
Can
You make it sound like it's corrupt.
No, not football. Not a chance.
The people's game.
But that's just. But that is the thing, isn't it? It is getting to a stage where, but give it 5 or 10 years, and I wouldn't be surprised if they have it like American franchises, where they'll just have it as the top 20 teams are away in the Premier League, and that's it. It'll always be the same 20 teams. They'll all pay a rights fee or whatever.
Everything has lost everything. Anything that is big enough that you can make money off it, that it's got money behind it, that there's money involved, that's what it becomes about. Like somewhere in there was a mention that it's not about people going out on the field and kicking the ball. It's about, how much money can I get for it? How much money can I make for this? How much money can I sell this for? How much money can I get for sponsorship? How much money is this worth? Rather than the love of the game, the ball, the people going out and playing the ball. It's everything. Anything that you can make money off, it just becomes about making money. It's not about what it originally was.
That's not football. That's the world.
That's the world. That's everything. Yeah. You look at take the list of the podcasts that we do. The NFL, money, games. The games market's being destroyed at the moment because of money. Football, we just talk bigger and bigger numbers.
Oh, you don't realise it that when before episode 4 happens, me and Paul will be wanting a fee because we're obviously the best.
If we're driving numbers into your podcast,
I knew this was fucking cool. Even technology, talk about technology and stuff, and talking about the fact that computer components are being driven by money because they're being certain components are being used to generate Bitcoin and stuff. So when you've got that...
Oh, GPUs went up massively a couple of years ago, didn't they? I don't know if it's settled now or something, but it's crazy.
No.
Yeah, me too.
Straight over my head.
So like, you know, like just basically using computers to like mine cryptocurrencies
Bitcoin,
or whatever.
yeah.
Just so to do that, you needed certain graphics cards.
Right,
so then suddenly people who
So
produce
people that
graphics
make
cards are
them
like,
went,
we
"Oh."
want a bit of that pie.
Let's charge more for those
Yeah.
items, and now they're ridiculous. I bought a computer, and within a week, the motherboard that I'd put in the computer had gone up £120 in a week. Because, you know, if anybody can make money off it, and coming back to the football side of it, you know, back when I was mad about football, you know, football players got paid a little bit more than if they were going to an office job, because they were, you know, football players, everybody wanted to watch them on a Saturday, but they were getting paid a small...
Sorry, were you into football like 40 years ago, Andy?
I was into football 30 years ago, and you know, it was like they were getting paid reasonable money because they were a footballer, so they were famous and all that, but it was reasonable. Now it's like, you know, it's more money than you'll ever be able to spend in a lifetime, and, you know...
I went.
Do you remember a couple of years ago
90
when pictures came out of Carlos Tevez's like wage slip?
I thought it was Torres. Or
No,
it
it
might
was
have been
Carlos
Or it might have
Tevez.
been Crespo when he was at Chelsea. He was
No.
getting something ridiculous.
Tevez
after
has come
tax,
out
it was
at
still
Man
like
City.
250 grand a week or something ridiculous like that.
But they come out with like pension contributions and all sorts of stuff. And they were ridiculous.
So I heard the perfect way to sum up this sort of generation of football supporters is that I heard this. One of the guys who went and did the football quiz was on like last Thursday. We said this in the car on the way home. There was a team there playing the quiz that looked like they were maybe 18, 19-year-old lads.
Was that the two?
The two that were sat in the corner. And he summed it up perfectly with, those are the sort of supporters who probably think that football started when the Premier League started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it's a Sky News kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, the record is that you're like, no. You know, stop where you are. You kind of, it's on. Wayne Rooney this, all that kind of thing. You know, and it's like, football was happening for 100 years before the Premier League came along, and it's just forgotten about.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, obviously, kind of, me and James will kind of agree with this. Like, it boiled my shit when they were talking about Leicester. Oh, it's the greatest story ever. Oh, no,
Yeah, I know. It's not.
When they get promoted, then you win the league, then you go and win the European Championship, then you go and win the European Super Cup after that. You know, and yeah, we might be living in the past, but you know, it's not. Leicester's story wasn't the greatest story ever told. You know, we're going to make films about it and write fairy tale books because it's so fucking wonderful. It's happened before.
Yeah. And it were better.
Would just a quick point. Would you be as bothered if this wasn't another team in the sort of
Midlands?
East
I know it.
I think it still would have pissed. I mean, it pissed me off because it was Leicester. But
Can you imagine if it was Derby?
Oh my god!
about it all the time. But anybody, you know, Newcastle. I mean, God, the only way it could have been worse, to be honest, if it was Newcastle the year that they won the championship.
Oh.
And by that point, I would have had to leave. It would have just been like, right, you know, we're putting the house for sale, and I need to get a job somewhere else. I can't live in that city while they're sitting to talk about how wonderful it was that they won the league.
Yeah. To be honest, we I think we covered it a little bit last week, and we said that the worst thing that can possibly happen this season would be a Leeds winning the Championship and Liverpool winning the Premier League double. Because the supporters would just not stop crowing for so many
I
years.
don't have the same disdain you have for Liverpool fans. Like, I
Stu,
don't
do
think
you
it's
want to
that
take
bad.
this one?
I'm totally on board with the Leeds fans.
Oh, well, they can just
But
fuck off.
Liverpool fans, I don't think I have the same issue.
It's for me.
Actually.
It's very much the living in the past thing, big time. Like a lot of the football fans that I went to football with were quite happy to say, "Oh yeah, we come and watch Hull every week," but we're a Liverpool fan. Well, that worked out fantastically well when we beat them 3-1 at home, and I was the only person laughing at. But I think it's because purely it is just the opposite end of the M62 for us.
Yeah,
So
right.
big team, straight down the motorway. Fair enough, they've got a history and all the rest of it. But I don't get it. I really guess that yes, they've been a good side this season. You can't argue with it. I'd love to, but you can't. They're doing pretty well, and I'm just really hoping, and this makes me sound like one of them really bitter football fans, that we get that Stevie G moment this season. Has to come out at some point. Has to.
I felt for him. I really did.
I know. I mean, like,
but I think I
didn't mind Gerrard. I would have personally been quite happy for him to have won the league.
I wasn't bothered. I wasn't particularly singling him out.
No, I get that.
Just anybody from the Liverpool team could have slipped like he did. That would have been great. But
I think I'd rather see Liverpool win a league now than a Man City or a Chelsea. And I just don't like either of those. Like I'll go out there. I love Man United to get back to winning the league again. Like, I've got a real soft spot for Man United. I always have done. We've been through this before. He's smiling because he's same.
At least he was born in Manchester.
I thought he was born in Bristol.
He was born in York. At least he spent time in Manchester. I don't just been visited on the
Manchester's
weekend.
my second home. When I was like growing up, and when I got into football, it was Man United on the TV.
So you live in a Stockport County fan, then you? Or Bury?
Burnley.
Rochdale.
Burnley.
Oldham. Salford.
Oh no, it's cool to be a Salford fan now, presumably, though, isn't it? But
It's where the spare Man United fans go.
Well, there you go.
But yeah, I mean, I had the kit and stuff. It was Man United and all that, and then like years later, and sort of like coming back to York, and like we discussed on that first episode, first one, that you can have two teams. You can have your home team, where you were born, and you have your team you picked. And I was fortunate or unfortunate, whichever way you want to look at it, that I was born in York and I lived in Manchester. So those teams sort of picked themselves.
and it's unlikely that they're going to conflict with each other as well. Isn't it, really? I know
there was the
time
back in the day. York go to Old Trafford and turn them over 3-1.
Mm-hmm. It's true. I've seen. I went to Old Trafford and watched Man United destroy QPR. It was a beautiful day. It was a really nice day.
It's a lovely day. Sun
was shining.
25 degrees.
Not a lot of wind.
I had my shorts on. It was lovely.
But yeah, they absolutely destroyed QPR.
you got your shorts on, full kit.
No, I had my shorts, shirt,
and
socks.
Did you
and I was eating a pie
because you were sat on the bench.
I was eating a pie on the bench.
Bib on. You know, could only get one arm through it like Balotelli. Top
That's
banter.
funny. It's funny.
So, what games have we had this week and who did what?
I think we maybe need to look at shall I go in with my prediction for the game?
So, last week we had predictions of a 1. Did you go 1-0 win for Forest at Reading?
No, I went on a full-on 3-0 win, and I even named you the scorers. At least they all started.
That could not have gone any worse.
What was that? Sorry, Matt.
That was before Karanka left.
It was, and
Yeah.
I was thinking, okay, yeah. So we ballsed up against Norwich. Okay, we've then smashed Leeds. Brilliant performance. And then we've lost against Chelsea. Whatever.
Whatever.
I expected that. So I thought we were going to get back to shitting on crap teams, basically.
And you don't get much shitter than Reading.
So I've gone 3-0. At the time, there was talk about Karanka.
It was
sticky.
Because when did we record? Was it Wednesday last week?
Tuesday.
So he was. When did he actually get announced that he was gone? Was it Friday?
Was it Friday morning or Thursday morning?
Friday morning.
Friday morning.
Because that's when you text me to say, "Oh, so you've got some material for the podcast next week."
So yeah. Anyway, I thought 3-0, and I think at the time I'd said that as far as I was concerned, or was it 2-0? One of the two. I was massively confident.
And what was the score?
2-0. It was. I correctly guessed 2-0. Why? Yeah, it was disappointing. What can I say?
Was it a 2-0 defeat by any chance?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, Reading turned them over.
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah.
Take it your goal scorers were out as well. Then it won like 2 own goals.
No, because I think.
Was it the score for Reading in the end?
I don't know Reading players.
This was the problem.
Was it Shaka Hislop?
That's all I know. He's been listening. Yeah, no.
I cannot wait for the week that he comes on.
But
That is going to be amazing.
I tell you, well, I tried to get him on, but he weren't interested. But
Not interested.
I did say that, as far as I was concerned, anyone that started either side of Carvalho was going to score. and I didn't know it was going to be 2 from the 3 options: Osborne, Lolly, or Cash. Now,
Lolly.
at least I got one thing right, because they just binned off Carvalho and started all 3 of them.
There you go.
So there you go, alongside Darryl Murphy.
Obviously,
Well,
the caretaker listened to this podcast for how to pick the team.
No, the caretaker presumably, if it's right that obviously Karanka didn't like to be told what the team was, all they did was got rid of Karanka and got someone who did like to know what the team was, because he put out exactly the same team that Karanka would have put out. Bar Carvalho.
So,
and I think now, based on that game, I don't know if Matt maybe knows more than me, is now we don't have any actual available centre backs, because the last one's now gone as well. Fox got
It's got
centre back.
Fox banned.
hang on a second.
Fucking hell.
Since when's Danny Fox been a centre half?
Last year or so.
He's a left back.
He is a left back, yeah, but he's now club captain and main centre back.
Of course he is.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, he's
We made quality, permanently healthy signings like Michael Dawson.
Dawson out,
You're welcome.
Heffel out.
Heffeler.
Yeah,
Huddersfield Town were absolutely raving when they
I
didn't
don't
sign
know.
him up.
Figueiredo's hanging around somewhere. I don't think he's interested. I don't know what's happening. But we're already playing Jakob at centre back, and now I don't know what's happening. Claudio Jakob.
Is that where he is now? Jesus Christ, I have no idea. Right, that guy was playing for West Brom last time I heard.
So yeah,
He's a defensive midfielder. What the fuck?
well, when Heffel went out, he dropped back in. He's held his place because there's no one else. So
that's
God knows.
almost as bad as when Michael Carrick was playing at centre half for United.
God knows who's going to come in for Fox. But at the same time, we obviously it
Didn't
wasn't
Must-
just Fox. We finished with 9 men. If you weren't
Oh
interested.
yes,
The right back's gone as well now.
I'm not-
So brilliant.
Was that the
Got no
Rico?
defence. Yeah.
Oh dear,
So yeah, excellent stuff.
Secrets of a good offence.
getting sent off.
Okay.
So sadly,
Didn't go my way.
Forest have gone to they've gone to the Mad Stad, and they've not been able to get the points.
Yeah.
However,
Let's talk some Borough football.
the Borough boys take a little trip down to Birmingham.
Before we get too excited,
Oh, okay.
what was your prediction in that game?
I think I went 1 each, which I would have been correct on. I'd some longer not popped up in the last 10 minutes and just dinked one over the keeper. You fucking beauty. Go on, lad. Pleasure.
You can
So-
have him. We're well short.
So, what was the score in that game then?
Birmingham City 1, Middlesbrough 2.
Just
Oh, hang on.
just remind me what summary predicted.
Hang on a second.
Did you really?
Just remind me what the prediction was for that one.
Was it
As I walked out the room, was it?
Yeah, I was
in the
gonna
room?
say, you
was
were
it Birmingham 1, Borough 2 with Emnes to score twice?
There wasn't evidence to score. I think I put some money on it as well. But I'm pretty sure, I will go back and check, pretty sure my parting shot on the way to the bathroom
Well,
was
lovely.
Borough
Was this before?
We
or
might have to
after?
promote you
Emnes
to
to score.
host at
Is
this
this
rate.
before or after I'd been for a piss? Or was that the week before?
the week before.
I think it lasted till the
Fucking
second.
Oh, God. Can you leave your horse at home next time?
So he's
Obviously,
the only one who's got a prediction right there.
yeah, sounds like it. Obviously, Stu wasn't here last week to give us a prediction, but do you want to give us a rundown of the whole game if you were bothered?
Well, yeah. At home to Sheff Wednesday. Obviously,
Brucey hadn't taken over, had he?
no. So we managed to avoid that whole new manager business. But yeah, obviously me being the optimistic Hull City fan that I am, thinking we've won 5 league games on the spin here, we're definitely going to lose. And then they smashed 3 in. So 3-0 home win, 6 league wins.
Yeah, all your games have been strong wins as well, haven't they?
Yeah,
Is
they're
that
just,
right?
they're just blowing the load early, that's it.
I don't know what's going on because they were awful, and like I know a lot of people are going, "Oh, Hull for the playoffs." I'm like,
I'll
is
tell you
that a bit
something.
of a stretch?
No.
Hull, QPR and Birmingham have all just gone from being shit to being literally just outside the playoffs within the space of 6
QPR, I
weeks.
think, will end up in the top 6. Out of the 3 you've mentioned, I
There's,
think they
there's,
will.
there's teams that are much more strong.
Wait,
Or stronger, even.
Much more strong.
The week that...
Much better England.
You see them blue flashing lights? Think the grammar police.
The
It's
week
my
that...
job.
I know. That's why I'm like, hang on a minute.
The week that I went and unfortunately saw City lose 2-0 to Forest,
We don't talk about games where we've been and seen Forest win 2-0.
As discussed just slightly before the podcast, was the last time that City lost.
Just the voice from the corner just appearing.
The disembodied voice from the corner.
So 6 wins on the spin, but unbeaten since the 24th of November.
No, that's pretty good.
I mean, they must be top of the form table then.
Well, they were definitely in the bottom 3 that weekend against Forest, and now they're 10th. So that, if the season finished now, you'd be like, well happy with that.
Oh yeah.
It's funny, I was talking about that game with my dad before the weekend, and he was like, this is going to be the start of, I can honestly see Wednesday coming through.
They can't be.
I reminded him of this fact on Saturday night.
He's not a Wednesday fan though, is he?
No, my dad flits between different clubs. I don't think he really...
Has he got more than you?
What do you mean more than me?
Forest.
I've got one club.
Forest, Man United, Donny.
When at any stage I said I'm a Donny fan.
You said you were born in Donny?
Right.
Donny Rovers.
No, this is the Paul theory of you've got to support the place where you're from.
I know, and he's got Andy believing
Hang on a second. I don't ever have a go at you saying you should be a Port Vale fan. Or a Stokeist.
It's happened at some point, or they definitely, it's an interrogation anyway. What's the why? Why do you want this?
Yeah, I mean, that does sound like it to me.
I want to.
No, I used to go to a lot of Donny games, but just because it was the local team. But I've never... It's like, I don't give a shit about the York result.
This is a point. So to sort of bring it all the way back. So, wait, this might take a while. Matt?
Yes.
Why are you a Forest fan?
Best team in the land?
Hey!
He can't tell you that already, can he?
There's a lot of erms.
At the age of 8 or 9, I must have had some kind of like self-hating kind of side to myself, or kind of really simple kind of thing. It was, we should have been going to the first. When I was 8, I was a big fan of John Barnes, so my uncle was taking us to Forest, Liverpool on Boxing Day. Got snowed off. Then we went to the FA Cup semi-final against West Ham at Villa Park. So Forest won that to go to the FA Cup final. Then a few weeks later, we went to see the rearranged fixture of Forest Liverpool. Forest won 2-1, and there starts one of the saddest stories you'll ever hear.
Incredible. So if you were to have picked in Stoke, then would you have gone for Stoke or Port Vale?
Oh, Vale, yeah.
So at the time, Port Vale were the better team, were they? Just about.
Well, yeah, Stoke. I think Stoke were in Division 3, as it were. Kind of like they were pretty poor when I was a kid. They were kind of somewhere between what is the Championship now and League One. But it's just that, I know it's a terrible place to go to now, like in terms of the football ground. But it was even worse in the 80s. It was just a hotbed for violence and stuff like that. Wow. So Dad would never take us anyway.
Yeah.
And
Pete Tandy's interest.
They're like they're a bit like Newcastle. They've got that kind of like, we own the city, and you're like, well, not actually, because you got the Vale down the way, and it's a far nicer, more family kind of based club.
Yeah.
That do their best kind of thing, but they've had the problem with the Vale is they've gone through the kind of similar kind of thing that a lot of football teams have gone through. That a bunch of knackers have bought them and then run them into the ground, then flog them to another knacker who then runs them into the ground. Like last time I went to the Vale, the side of the stadium where where the benches are and where the kind of the corporate boxes are, there was no seats because the club had run out of money to buy seats. And like, so they had a half-filled, half-finished stand, and you're like, that's just sad. It's a real kind of depressing state of affairs. And you kind of have that kind of thing of, if I won 100 million on the lottery, what would I do? Go pay for the Vale to have some plastic seats. But do something decent like that. It's when you kind of hear these stories. I was speaking to my uncle who is a Vale season ticket holder, and he's like, "Oh yeah, the away end at the Vale. Yeah, we bought that from another club when they decided they didn't want it anymore. So this this stand was literally taken down piece by piece, shipped up the M6 and rebuilt at Vale Park. And
I've heard of that before.
How is that cost effective?
Because it means you don't have to pay for the steel again, and the steel's what costs them money.
Right,
I imagine.
okay.
There's no design work to it. It's already done.
It's pre-done in slabs.
Take a picture of it at one end and print it up at the other.
It's only like,
yeah, I'm sure we can knock this up.
You mentioned Donny. It's like back in the day at Bellevue, as it was, and they used to have one of the ends was the corporate boxes, was just porter cabins on top of each other.
I used to go when that was there. Yeah. Well.
See, I never really had that. I never had to go. Well, I'm saying I never really had to go to like a ramshackle ground or something like that. And I just remember.
Oh, you've been spoiled with Hartlepool,
Pun still play at Victoria Park, and that's a bit of a shit. I remember talking
Can I
to.
just mention the toilet situation at Bootham?
Oh, has everyone here been in the away end at Bootham?
I've only ever been to Bootham Crescent once, and this is going to sound really gay now, but I was the mascot. So I watched it. So I watched it from the bench with.
You had your polo shirt on at the time.
I was going to say, tucked under.
No, they rocked me up in like full on. I was annoyed. I was annoyed at the time that I didn't get to keep that kit because I was like, you should get this.
That's surely part of that.
I know.
I think that must be part of the package now.
Pass on to the next person doing the week after.
And then you think, who had it before me? Yeah, New Year's Day in early 90s or something. Yeah, it was fucking freezing as well.
Yeah.
0-0 against Rochdale it was.
Oh, I tell you something.
Fantastic.
You want cold? Get yourself down the Vic on a Friday night when it's pissing it down in about February. Oh my fucking word! I have never been colder in my life. But we could have gone and sat in the stand. No. Toughen it out. That's how you do things.
I used to stand all the time at Donny. When I used to go to
Did you have a choice there?
There was bits and pieces of seats.
There are things that look like
Bits and pieces of
pictures of
seats.
seats in parts.
There was bits of seats in one end, and the away end, to be fair, was actually seated. But it was like caged almost.
When I went to Bellevue, say back in the day, it was the season after we'd been promoted, where Donny won the league and Hull came second, and they felt it absolutely necessary at half time to parade the trophy around, not the whole stadium, just the end where Hull fans were.
The opposite to where the porter cabins are.
Exactly, yeah. See, can you imagine that went down?
Oh, that's amazing! That is incredible.
I've not been. Well, as I say, I used to go to Bellevue when they were in the conference.
Hey, I tell you something.
And the only time I've ever been to Stoke, as a link in there, is I've been to the Britannia because the playoff final when Donny got out.
Yes, I was going to say, yes. Before Wembley was rebuilt, that's where they did the non-league playoff final.
Yeah, so that's my only visit to Stoke in my life.
My first ever football game was Port Vale versus Sheffield United at Vale Park. Fantastically interesting game to get me into football at 0-0. But yeah.
Oh, we've all been there. I mean, everyone's got that story of a game they've been to which has just bored them to tears. So mine is the York versus Hartlepool game from about 4, 5, 6 seasons ago, where it was 0-0, and neither side had a shot on target. And the kicker for that was that I bought my mate Rich the tickets as his birthday present.
Happy birthday, mate.
Did you not like it?
Because he was saying that this was back when City were the new stadium was right around the corner, and he was saying how he'd never been in the away end at Bootham, so he wanted to go before the stadium closed down. So the stadium. This was at least 6 seasons ago, and the stadium was still being used. So, and yeah, what a game to go to 0-0. No shots on target. Jesus Christ, that one was pulling teeth.
I remember going to see City when, again, it was in the lower leagues when they were on their way up to the Championship, and we needed to beat Swindon at home to get promoted. And City being City, not doing anything. I think everybody's got that about the club as well, haven't they? When you think, they always do it the hard way. Genuinely, look at the results, because this will back it up. They needed to beat Swindon at home, and it finished 0-0. relying on other results. Everybody, like, you know that thing that was on the NFL the other week when they were all watching the screen?
Yeah.
We didn't even have a screen then, so we couldn't do any of that watching the results come
Everyone on the radio.
I was going to say, everyone will clap to the red.
And I've never ever been in a ground where a 0-0 was cheered so loudly after the other results finished and City ended up getting promoted on a 0-0 result.
Yeah.
But
that's happened to Pools before. Pools needed to, I think they needed to draw to get promoted, got beat, but the other teams around them lost as well, so they still went up anyway. So like they've just been pummeled like 3-0. Yet all the away supporters are still cheering because they've been promoted anyway. Just ridiculous.
What games have we got this week?
So
this might be where I've just gone to grab my phone in anticipation of it.
It's almost like you knew it was coming.
I would check my phone. Unfortunately, someone's on it. So I think
This
Borough.
Saturday, I can tell you.
Oh.
Got
There's your
Hull
results.
play Villa away.
Yeah.
The Bruce Derby, even though he's not either
He's
club
not
anymore.
his guest.
Middlesbrough got
Millwall at home. Yeah.
Forest have got Bristol City
Oh, interesting. Is that at home?
at home. Yeah.
Right then, everyone's.
Sell out a mighty 29,000.
I've never been to the City ground. But
Well,
we're
going out.
I was going to say we're discussing it. We're going to go. It's on the bank holiday Monday, Matt. If you're going to be interested,
Which bank holiday Monday?
Easter Monday it'll be.
Oh yeah.
So I'd say road trip, but what's the train situation
Well,
like to Nottingham?
I've been thinking about this. I might have to meet
Fucking
you
nightmare.
somewhere along the way because I'll be in Donny for that weekend because
Oh.
I'll have been at the.
I've been to watch Doncaster.
No, I'll be in Donny, but because that's where the family's from. But I'll be going to watch Sheffield United Forest at Bramall Lane
you're a Sheffield
on Good
United
Friday. No, because I'm a Forest fan and they're playing at Sheffield United where all my family goes every week. So I'll be in Donny
I'll
for the
just
weekend.
drive.
So maybe.
So,
Are you going to come?
I'll just drive.
He loves the football.
When am I not at the football?
He won't be bothered about the fact that it'll probably cost him about 35 quid.
Who do I see about my expenses?
That's the fee for them, sure.
Well,
We really need to start pushing this band.
as we discussed before, press pass.
Yeah,
We're covering the football. Press pass.
I don't
You've got me in the press box before.
Yeah, that was a FA Cup game, wasn't it?
It was an FA Cup game.
That was back in the day when big Ugo Ekiok was playing for Fiorentina.
R.I.P.
say.
Now he actually is dead.
Really?
So that was a really sad one, that, because he was only like 40, 42, something like that.
I know this
is
is awful, but do you remember? Not so long after he died, was it even when maybe like Bruce took over at Villa, and whoever had gone previously, they were like looking at odds for who the next manager was, and some betting company posted who the Ekiok is the favourite to take over, and he wasn't even alive.
Oh God.
Do you remember that? It was quite a big thing.
I think Matt remembered it because I can hear him chuckling.
Oh, I remember that.
Matt worked for Sky Bet at the time.
So,
Predictions time. Should we let the Forest fans go first?
come on then. We should probably start recording these, other than the fact that we are recording. It's not like it was with the NFL when there was.
I'll just write it on the one where someone's written Suarez and Sturridge.
Well, presumably
last
that'll
week's
need to
quiz.
be, that'll
that's
need to be reused, right, for this week.
Well, I just use the bottom of the page.
Well, let's stick it on the pad.
It's alright. I can make it do it. Right, Matthew, you can have first crack at this.
Go on then. I didn't realise they were above us on the table.
Are they?
I'm still going to go for 2-1. 2-1 to Forest.
Millwall are above Forest?
Bristol City above Forest.
Oh, I'm thinking it's Millwall. Borough playing Millwall. What a fucking...
It's much of a muchness like out there though, isn't it? Between
At least we
like,
got the expert in this.
Birmingham and Forest.
Bristol City are another one where they've just... In the last couple of weeks, they've just sprung from nowhere. Because I thought they were down near the relegation zone.
Oh, they've been lurking for a bit.
They had a support.
But you look at Birmingham there, right? Birmingham lost to Hughes lot and moved above us in the table.
Ridiculous. So what do you say, Matt?
2-1, I think.
2-1 to Forest.
Do you want to bother with the scorers?
What?
Murphy.
Yeah, Daryl Murphy.
What?
Is that a Daryl Murphy brace we're seeing there?
I think you've got more chance of Danny Fox scoring.
Danny Fox up from centre half.
No, the fact that he's banned.
Sorry, Matt.
Right, that's
Sorry, Matt. I didn't quite catch the last bit of that.
Who's the to be confirmed defender?
Oh, Murphy and TBD.
He's got TBD. Shit.
No, Ben Osborne.
Oh, nice. I do like him. He's a very composed footballer, from what I've seen.
Scores a good goal.
High work rate, I think, is
Yes.
kind of like. Yeah.
It's like Adam Clayton, not the most technically gifted, but
Works
tries
hard.
out.
Good shit. A James Milner.
Turns up when he's supposed to.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Dirk Count.
Dirk
He was
Count. God, he was a pretty boy. Wasn't he?
Tries hard. Give you a honest performance.
Points
James,
for effort.
you can't have 2-1 because Matt's got it.
I'll,
I'm pretty sure he can still have 2-1. I just let me check the rule book.
do you know what?
Yeah,
I'll go for the honeymoon effect and I'll go 3-0.
Oh my word!
I will.
3-0. Scores?
Maybe it's the same ones as. No, I think Graben will play and it'll be 2 for Graben and we'll go Cash.
Matty Cash.
Johnny
Excellent.
Cash.
Stu?
I wouldn't be quite as optimistic, but I do think they'll win. I'll say 1-0.
1-0. Hazard a guess at a scorer?
Fella in red, they're at home, aren't they? No idea.
Will he be wearing coloured boots? More than likely because they're all fucking Ponzies. So, right, we'll just leave the scorer blank and you can just fill it in afterwards. Just say that's who you picked.
That's what I would have gone with.
Oh, he's really weighing it up now.
2-1 to Forest. 2-1.
Apparently you're not allowed to go to.
Dare I ask? Goal scorers.
Ozzy Osbourne and Johnny Cash.
Right.
I've been working on that joke. The entire time I've been doing this.
Sorry, lads.
Oh no.
Give over.
I'm not going to put you down for a loss, but I think Bristol City played well at the minute, so I'm going to put you down for a point, 1 each. And I'll go... Ooh!
He's only doing this so
Is
he
he-
can break out a Bristol City player.
Is
for
he
the
injured
predictions.
at the minute, or is Guediora playing?
Playing since Jako's moved back into defence.
Yeah,
Yeah. He's in the starting lineup. Yeah.
I'll go Guediora to score.
You
Seems
just wanted to spell that, didn't you?
Seems
I wish I'd have had to read that.
because he did so well at the Borough. Fuck me.
I think he's a solid player.
Yeah,
One of my
I
favourites
think
in
we
that squad.
paid £3.5 million for him, and he played twice. What a fucking waste of money!
I like
that
him.
was. Right, we'll move on to the Borough game. We'll leave the best till last. So Borough versus
Fancy.
Millwall. Who fancies Tony Pulis to shit out his way to a 1-0? Eh? Is that
that where you're
everybody?
going?
Is that 1-0s across the board? Boys? Andrew.
2-2.
Fucking hell. You think,
Where's
you
it
think
at?
Middlesbrough will score 2 goals in 1 game at home? It's not the FA Cup.
He's been listening to me because I do rant on about us throwing away a 2-0 lead.
Emma's
against-
score goals.
Both of them. And I'm putting a 5 on it.
James.
Well, you'll go and win. I'll go 2-1. I think we can score
You
2.
don't concede goals at all. Scorers.
You definitely.
Shut up.
Hugh Gill and only because I mention him every week, Gusted.
Oh, ugh.
It'll be a header from Gusted as well. I'll narrow it down to definitely a header. Alright?
Stu.
I'm going to give you the scoreline that always busts me on Super 6 every week. But after our recent experience with Millwall, they're always one of them teams. I'm giving you a 0-0.
Hey! The Borough's favourite score. 0-0 scorers.
Well, the Millwall fans might win on points, maybe.
Matt.
I am going to go for 1-0.
Of course he is. He knows his Pulis. He knows his Pulis ball.
To Millwall.
Something
Oh, did he say to Millwall?
No, I'm just.
Something I was going to mention earlier from spending an entire weekend coding podcasts. I was going to say I think we'd need to get a big board and mark like a chalkboard or something, and mark up every time on a podcast that Paul says Tony Pulis. In last week's, it was 80 times.
Hey, just you wait. Last game of the season podcast. If
Does
Borough
this
get,
include TPs?
if Borough get promoted, I believe the bet is that I have to come in full Tony Pulis tracksuit with cap.
And cap.
Yeah, with cap. Yeah, exactly.
Bulky wanker underneath.
Oh yes,
Shin pads.
excellent. Did you give us a score, Matt, or were you not bothered?
The treacherous bastard that you signed for 17 million. That's on the longer.
Don't know who you're talking about there.
I think that was good business, to be honest.
Now there would have been a good one for Andy to try and pronounce. Brit Assombalonga.
It was good business, and the hilarious thing is that obviously he forced his way out of the club then for Tony Pulis to take over and for him to be sat on the bench. At least he's fit because he's not playing.
True story. I will go with an ever optimistic. Do you know? Fuck it, 3-0.
Whoa.
I've adopted the James
Sorry,
principle.
I just assumed that you went for the 1-0.
No, I can't have it because Matt's gone for it.
You go. Well, have you noticed my principle is if I say 3-0 every week, eventually I'll get one right.
That is just darts at a board there, isn't it?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I'll go 3-0. And do you know what? We're about to see a Brit Assombalonga hat trick this weekend.
You're dreaming. You'd have to be on the pitch to get the hat trick.
Yeah, good point. And last but not least, Hull. Oh, is it Villa away?
It's Villa away, yeah.
No, you've got to be correct about this.
I've got to write it down, haven't I? You know, Villa versus Hull.
Time's that kicking off?
Oh, don't start that. Don't start that again.
There's no times of the games.
James, go on, you can have first crack.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
Can you name me a single player from either side?
I can name your whole player. Sorry, Villa. I can't name your whole player. Can I? No, I'm sorry.
But which is going to give a Villa win, and he just says he's got a scorer.
I think last week I went for 0-0 with Birmingham Middlesbrough, and that's so I didn't have to name anyone.
Yeah. That was his tried and trusted technique.
Do you know? I would go with Villa though. Sorry, I feel like I should show some allegiance actually while you're here, but no, I think Villa.
Score?
2-0.
2-0. Oof.
Yeah.
Scorers, if you want to give them. Oh, we're not bothered.
I don't know enough. I mean, Abraham. Is he still there now? Has he moved back?
2. Matt.
I think it's going to be like 1-1.
One apiece.
One piece, yeah.
Scorer?
It's probably because it's the only Villa player I know, like Tammy Abraham. And the Polish guy for Hull.
Grzycki.
Steve McDonald, have you seen him?
Has he got that little thing there?
If you've never seen Kamil Grzycki, look at a picture of him and tell me it's not Steve McDonald from Coronation Street. I haven't watched Coronation Street since I was a teenager, probably. Definitely looks like him still now.
Right, I'm going to go for an optimistic. Villa 1.
Is Andy researching?
Hull 2.
Ooh.
And I'll go for Fraser Campbell.
Of course he knows.
Come off the bench. Yeah. Get a goal. And Jared Bowen. Although I was going to bring this up earlier, the more he scores, the less chance he's there at the end of the transfer window.
And as well, Hull have done that thing in the January transfer window where they've come out this week, put out a statement saying we're definitely not selling anyone.
So it's definitely
so that's 31st of January or whenever it finishes.
Exactly. First of Feb, definitely there with his Borough shirt, held up proudly.
Whoa! He's not going up there, is he? It's been linked to Tottenham and
Leeds.
Leeds.
Have been linked to.
Yeah.
There you go. We'll leave the old fan to have the last pick on this one.
Weren't Spurs after someone from Norwich? Weren't they ever linked to?
They got linked to Madison, but like last season.
No.
Aarons.
Yeah.
The right Max Aarons. Is it
Yeah,
the right
they're
back?
fancying him.
Don't know why they're buying another right back. Trippier, Walker Peters. They've got so many. Andrew, pressure's on.
Yeah, you
Does he go
0-0?
Just
No,
to get out?
because he was clearly looking at some goal scorers, but you stole them.
Surely.
Yeah, you thought I was gonna be like 2-1 for Villa.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, I haven't managed to Google fast enough to find the players, but I could have told you who was going to score for Hull.
You can give me the whole goal score if you want.
It's going to be Fraser.
Campbell.
If you give me 2 minutes.
Stu, round us out.
I'd like to be the optimistic one because we've been on such a good run. It's
It
got
has to come to an end.
It has got to come to an end, but
Just not now.
this weekend is not going to be that time.
Oh, here we go.
I'm going to go for a cheeky 1-0 away.
Ooh, 0-1.
You can't ever at the moment not pick Jared Bowen.
It's a sense. It's. I mean, what if you go in 0-1 as a scorecast? You're probably getting what 30s on Bowen at the minute.
Well, technically he's a midfielder, but he's scored the most goals for us, so you probably won't get that
This
much.
is the thing, though. It's like, is he a midfielder? Because I thought he was a midfielder, and then everyone on the radio is always talking about him as a forward.
Again, that's because he scored the most goals. So it's the Nigel Adkins school of formation. Stick one up front, and then everyone else just join him when you feel like it.
Yeah, that's true. Right, predictions are in. And is it quiz time?
It is quiz time.
Excellent. Right, who needs paper? Or are we doing it on phones?
Sure, what do you want? There's a pad there. There's a series.
Can
of
you do it
pennies
on
dotted
phone?
around.
I can't do it on my phone. Shh. Have you got a pat? Have you got?
I want paper because
Have you got a pen and paper to hand, Matt?
We've proved that I can't actually.
You can't use
I can't use.
Oh, he's got his iPad. Look at this guy.
Sweet.
Came prepared.
Yeah, but has he though? No one will be able to verify that.
Oh yeah, Matt. We want complete and total. We want complete and total honesty here.
Maybe a little 24 and just move you off the standby.
There are 10 questions, and they are all
Multiple choice.
Thanks.
One of those pens is dodgy. As in it.
I'm good.
Right. Well, are we all ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Question number 1. Which player was nicknamed the Divine Ponytail? Oh, shit the bed.
We should all know that one without having to give us the options.
Should you?
You almost Santa Forest.
Well, I've got it. Did he?
No. One of the local reporters had apparently seen him there and put it on the back of the paper. He's coming to Forest. It was like around the kind of 94 World Cup. No, we got Andre Slenzi instead.
Yeah, boy. Woohoo!
So you don't need the options.
I don't think so.
No, but I want to hear him say it.
I think.
You know it. Yeah, but I want to hear him say it.
yeah,
One of them's called Pierluigi.
Pierluigi
Pierluigi.
Casaraghi.
No.
Pierluigi.
Polina.
Polina.
No
That's
way.
a referee.
And he
Interesting.
definitely didn't have a buddy.
Yeah, he's a modern referee, hasn't he?
Paolo Maldini.
Yeah.
Right.
Roberto Baggio.
Yeah.
Oh, he's nailed it.
Gullit.
Rude Hullet.
Obviously, we'd pull it, haven't they? Come on.
Hullet.
Obviously.
Why don't you know that?
Question 2.
Question number 2. Robins, Valiants, and Addicts are all nicknames of which team? Look at those blank faces. A. Bristol Rovers, B. Charlton, C. Aston Villa, D. Bristol City. Robins, Valiants, and Addicts are all nicknames of which team? Bristol Rovers, Charlton, Aston Villa, Bristol City.
Yes.
Everybody's looking good. Number 3. Who took Wigan into the Premiership for the first time? A. Kevin Keane, B. Roberto Martinez, C. Stuart Pearce, D. Paul Jewell. Question number 4. Who plays home games at the New Den? A. West Ham, B. Dennington United, C. Millwall, D. Bournemouth.
Dennington United.
If you remember,
Love it.
that came out in Thursday night's football quiz.
Question number
A bit
5.
reverse engineered, but I'll explain.
I see.
What colour are Wales's international
Grey.
home shirts? A, black. B, red. C, white. D, yellow. Question number 6. Who was Arsenal's regular keeper in the 1970-71 double season?
Oh dear.
Here he
Was
goes.
it A, Bob Wilson, B, Rob Wilson, C, George Graham, D, David Seaman? Question number 7. In which year did Arsene Wenger join Arsenal as manager?
Oh shit, we talked about this a lot.
Did talk about this. Was it 98, 96, 94 or 99? Question number 8. At which Premiership club did Dunn and Duff play in the same side? Was it A, Watford, B, Blackburn Rovers, C, Norwich, D, Fulham? Question number 9. Which club is linked with the playing career of Tom Finney? A, Swansea, B, Newcastle, C, Preston North End, D, Accrington Stanley.
Who are they?
Who are they?
Exactly.
And your 10th and final question. Which city has a team of the same name as a United team? Is it A, Birmingham, B, Leicester, C, York, D, Dundee?
Sorry, do I not understand that question?
I don't get that either.
Which city has a team of the same name as a United team?
So which city has a team that has United as part of its name?
So, A, Birmingham, B, Leicester, C, York, D, Dundee.
Oh,
All right,
get
I
it
get
now.
that now. Yeah.
Any repeating? Matt, did you get all them?
Yeah. Oh, you want me to send them through so someone doesn't think I'm cheating?
Oh, hang on, you went a bit Dalek there.
He's going to send them through.
No, I think we trust you.
I think we trust you. I mean, you know, depends what you score, but
Two of us know where you live, so you know.
let's see how it goes.
Who do we have to thank for the quiz this week?
NFL Stats Mistress.
Of course it was.
Fired one home again.
Hey, I tell you something, she almost shit the bed with the NFL quiz though.
What do you mean? Hard.
She started reading the questions and it was like, I think we had this one last week.
That was that.
He sent it through.
Oh,
And then there was
He's
there was
going to cut you off
the
now.
question that had no answer. I was like, okay. Right, are we ready?
Aye.
right.
I'm copying his answers now they sent them through. Don't be checking.
Ooh, I'll tell you something. We've almost got the exact same answers apart from number 2.
All right, let's find out who's going to win. Question number 1. Which player was nicknamed the Divine Ponytail?
Baggio.
Roberto Baggio.
Tick.
B for those
Oh,
counting the letters.
I thought you would have just gone B, C.
Well,
Well, I learned my lesson from last time, didn't I?
Yeah,
Can't
well
remember.
Robbins, Valiant, and Addict are all nicknames of which team?
Charlton.
Is
I've
the
gone
correct
Charlton.
answer. So that's B for all you letter people. Who took Wigan to the Premiership for the first time? Kevin Keenan, Roberto Martinez, Stuart Pearce, or Paul Jewell?
Jules, surely.
Paul Jewell.
D. Paul Jewell. Yeah. Question 4. Who plays home games at the New Den? West Ham, Dennington United, Millwall, or Bournemouth?
I really want it to be Dennington United.
It's
It's
Millwall, isn't it?
It's Millwall.
So yeah, so in the quiz he asked
Millwall.
where did Millwall play and accepted the Den. Because your man who was like at the end of the table on our team was like, shouldn't that be the New Den?
I can't remember that question.
Yeah. Well, you were probably playing someone else's iPad at the time. I don't know.
Question number 5. What colour are Wales's international home shirts?
Black. Red.
Black, red, white, or yellow? It's B. Red.
Having looked at your answers and looked at my answers, I think Andy's omitted part of the quiz today.
What do you mean?
What happens in the event of a draw? But anyway,
Is there a tiebreaker? Or can you come up with a tiebreaker on the spot?
Question number 6. Who was Arsenal's regular keeper in the 1970 to 71 double season? Bob Wilson, Rob Wilson, George Graham, David Seaman.
Well, I think his friends might have called him Rob. Who's to know?
Is it Bob Wilson?
It's Bob Wilson. A for those keeping the letters. Number 7. In which year did Arsene Wenger join Arsenal as manager? 98, 96, 94 or 99?
96.
It is B, 96.
See, even though we talked about this extensively, was it last week or the week before?
Last week.
I was praying to God 95 weren't coming out there. I was like, I'm not sure on this one.
Question number 8. At which Premier club did Dunn and Duff play in the same side?
Blackburn Rovers.
B, Blackburn Rovers.
Insert Northwest accent there, depending on whatever
Blackburn.
team.
Blackburn.
Burnley. Bolton.
Number 9.
Preston. Oh, Preston.
Which club is linked with the playing career of both players? Preston North End. C. And your final one. Which city has a team of the same name as a United team? Birmingham, Leicester, York or Dundee, excuse me.
Dundee.
D is Dundee.
10 on 10. Sadly, Matt has only got 9.
Oh,
And I came last. I knew I'd come last at that. I got
what did
7.
you get?
10.
Oh!
This is why I thought. To be honest, that was. I didn't know if that had been tailored for my terrible football knowledge, because that was a lot easier than what you normally give to him.
What you could do,
Yeah.
Andy, if you wanted a tiebreaker, just find a.
What you could do is give
just
me
go
the
a
win
club
because he'll get all the other ones.
and just get the ground, and we'll just do the attendance and that closest wins.
Just Google England national attendances for the last one.
Can we not pick York because he's already?
Oh yeah,
he's
don't
already
pick
failed.
York.
He's already failed at that one.
Don't pick York, don't pick Forest, and don't pick Borough.
Right, well, I've got one. Have you got anything?
I don't think we'll guess anywhere near close to that. I've got a top one on there. It's the first one that's recorded.
His face.
He's
Well,
gonna know
I was
it.
going to go with that.
Yep.
So we'll go with nearest number. Okay. What was the average capacity
Excuse me.
of the stadiums at France 98 World Cup?
Son of a bitch.
Average capacity.
What was the average capacity of the stadiums at the France 98 World Cup? Go.
If it's any consolation, I'd get it, but mainly because I've just seen the answer on his phone.
I would struggle, but I think I might get it. To the nearest, whatever. 100,000. You both got something?
I have an answer.
Right.
43,500.
46,000.
Oh!
Oh, his picture.
Has he?
His picture because it's 45,000. Oh, well done.
Well played,
So,
Rob.
third round, he takes a win. It's 2-1 to the boy Williams.
Oh, I'm so pleased.
So
I don't know if it's because I've won or because you've lost.
Wow, what a bastard. Son of a bitch.
It's like one of them weeks where your team wins, but then Leeds have lost as well. Isn't it?
Yeah. Everybody. Right.
Right, lads. Well,
So there we go.
thank you very much for coming. Stu in person, Matt on the phone.
Oh, thank you. It was actually a free therapy session.
Yeah, Bill's in the post. Yeah, so, as always, podcasts are made with the people that turn up. I've done them on my own, and it's hard to talk to somebody when there's no one there. It's always good. Paul and James make time, but it's always even more special when people can take the time to jump on the phone, and certainly jump in the car and drive for an hour. So
Yes, absolutely.
thank you both for coming. Thank you two for both coming, and we'll call it there.
Excellent.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
So there you go. What do you think of that? Special guests aplenty. Yeah, we're well underway with the new football podcast, and I think it's going well. What do you guys think? YouTube watchers, become YouTube subscribers by subscribing to the channel and click the bell for notifications. Let us know how you're getting on with the quizzes. Do you think they should be harder, maybe? See what you think on that one. Everybody should jump over to the cookiecast.com. Send us some social media love, like we've been getting on the Twitter. So yeah, you should join in and do that as well. Maybe even drop us an email. See how many you scored in the quiz. Until next time, I'll say goodbye. But join us next time to hear more about the world of football, and mostly the Middlesbrough boys and the Forest guys. See how they're getting on. So yeah, I'll catch you next time. Bye bye. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Cookiecast. Today on Cookiecast, it's the football podcast. And already, the football podcast has got special guests. Paul was hosting with his co-host James, and they had not only a special guest in person who travelled all the way from Hull, they had a special guest on the phone. So yeah, we're off to a flying start with this podcast. So there's discussion about what's going on with the Borough and the Forest boys. Lots of Forest supporters in the house, and we added a Hull supporter to the mix. So see what you think to this. So this is You Can't See the Forest for the Tees.